In the dawn of time, there was the birth of Dad and the mythical Ancient One, also known as Sowfire. In 1980, Coolingen is born. He was a happy little poop kid. He quickly met Dad. After all, they had the same father, and Dad is his brother. And Dad instantaneously realized that he was the second most popular kid in the family now. In 1985, Dad started to play chess. In this way, he could prepare himself for streaming chess like 30 years later. Or maybe a bit more than 30 years. Dihy is born on an Easter day, 1987. New to this world, but not alone. She met her brothers, Dad and Coolingen for the first time. In 1990, a day like no other, a Dave was born. The weather must have been a bit douchey that day. The year after, in 1991, a nurse danced out of her mom's tummy, and shortly after, mutual siblings, Dad, Coolingen, and Dihy. The siblings of 4 was now complete. Well done, Mom and Dad. Early in the 1990s, Dad and Coolingen get their first PC, which they shared brotherly. There was not many games they could play at the same time, so most of the time one had to watch. Kinda like streaming, you know, before streaming was cool. They would share a PC for many years. They played Prince of Persia, Dune 2, and many of the good old retro games. Around 1995, the brothers found their way to the internet. You know, back in the days where logging on the net took forever. It was at this time that Coolingen came up with the name Coolingen, based on being a cool nobody. In Norwegian, nobody translates into ingen. Meanwhile, in the United States, in 1997, the lost girl was born a summer child. Back in Norway, in 2001, Bird was born. Oh yeah, it was before Lokaso. During the 2000s, Bird was a happy tomboy kid, being introduced to the nerd world through Star Wars, Pokemon, and The Legend of Zelda. In 2001, the universe is born, at least through Lokaso's eyes. In 2003, Dihy gets her name, Påskekylling. Now, she was born in Easter. Therefore, you get påske, which is the Norwegian word for Easter. And kylling means chicken, so yeah, she was an Easter chicken. In 2005, she changed her name to Dihydrogen. While playing World of Warcraft, she met the Ancient One. Later on, she changed her name to Dihy. Meanwhile, in Norway, in Trondheim, Dihy went to the university, which was the same university that Dave attended, and that's where they met in 2010. In 2006, Lokaso plays Sonic the Hedgehog on PS2 and discovers the joy of video gaming. And then in 2010, Lokaso gets his own PC and is instantly a loyal member of the Master Race. In 2010, Dad became a dad. And in 2012, he became a dad again. Hence, he got the name Dad. Coincidentally, this was the period he also started to make a lot more dad jokes and starting to perfectionize them. In 2012, Lokaso gets to go on the internet and discover the world of YouTube and gets the dream of joining in. 2013, he starts his first YouTube channel with his friend and the love for video creation is born. In 2016, Lokaso wins an early invite to the closed beta of Overwatch and is in love for the first time in his life. In 2014, Nurse becomes an actual nurse. In the same year, Nurse meets Dave while visiting Dihy at university. In 2015, Dad gets a beta key for Overwatch. He is immediately sold. And in 2016, he introduces the game for his siblings. They start playing together with Dave and the Ancient One. And Nurse gets her first ever gaming computer. While things were joyful in Norway, back in the States, Lost Girl hurt her back during cheerleading. But she found her way through games. She found League of Legends. Her brothers had started playing it when it was in beta and Season 1, and Lost Girl thought it was a terribly ugly looking game. But she often watched them. During this time, Lost Girl had met a couple of friends online who she played Xbox with. They asked her to play League of Legends, so they could play on the computer. She had a MacBook, and luckily she could play. So she downloaded the game and played with a trackpad. She played this game for so long and met so many friends. In 2017, Lost Girl finally got her own PC, and she started to play Overwatch. Having watched a lot of League of Legends streamers, she was inspired to start streaming herself. In 2018/19, Lost Girl finally hit GM on DPS in Overwatch. And now she has been streaming for a while. In 2016, Dave finishes university and becomes a real developer. In the meanwhile, in Norway, 2015, Bird was a hardcore PS4 gamer. About a year later, she became a hardcore PC gamer. In 2017, in a game of Overwatch, Nurse and Dihy meets a Reinhardt that does exactly what they tell the Reinhardt to do. Which was a bit weird, because they were not in chat together. Somehow, this Reinhardt is moving exactly the way they want Reinhardt to move. They figured out this must be their Reinhardt twin. So they invited to a group. This Reinhardt was Bird. And that's how their friendship started. This led, of course, Bird to the rest of the group, with Dad, Coolingen, Dave, and the Ancient One. In 2019, Dave discovers archery and becomes mildly very obsessed. Same year, he meets his girlfriend. Who knows? Maybe Cupid was his archery teacher. And in 2021, they move in together. In 2019, Lokaso makes unfunny jokes in voice chat during a competitive game of Overwatch. Nurse pitied him enough to invite him to her group with Bird. Next day, Bird invites him to join her Minecraft server, and he knew she was a keeper. Through some Overwatch games later on, Lokaso will end up meeting Dad, Coolingen, Dihy, Dave, and the Ancient One. In 2020, Bird leaves her Norwegian nest and makes a Swedish one. November same year, Nurse jokes that Lokaso doesn't want to stream with the gang. Lokaso takes this very personally and creates Stream Team Was Taken and streams that very day. This cascaded us into streaming every day for a whole family-friendly year. back in the States. In 2021, Lost Skull was searching through small streamers and saw the stream team was taken. She recognized the name from OWC6 talking about it. So she figured she would stop in. The rest is history, as they are now her family and more than she could ever ask for. She feels incredibly blessed that they are all in her life. In more ways than she could put into words, they have changed her life. Each one of them has touched her life and helped her become who she is even today, almost a year later. If she ever needed someone, she knew they would be there. She feels like a proud member and sister to the stream team was taken, and she hopes one day she can meet them all in person and really express how much they truly mean to her. And that is the entire story about how the stream team was taken members met each other. And all led up to this incredible day where we are 1 year old. It's been an amazing journey. Thank you so much for all the support from everybody and for making our community such an amazing place.